Alright, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hey, before we get into it, this video here is basically a bit of a continuation from the last video I put out talking about driver saturation. So if you want to get the full context of what I'm saying in this video, I would recommend watching that video. I'll post it here. After you watch that video, just come back over here and check this video out. And again, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, comment below. Definitely enjoy the feedback. It helps myself. It helps everybody else that's watching this channel, that's involved in this channel. So, hey guys, enjoy.
Your hustle got to be strong in this industry, as in any other industry.
What makes that worse, as far as for the expediting sector, not talking about for everybody else, but for the expediting sector, the cargo van stuff, that high increase in motor carriers, what's helped that become a issue for the rates and for everybody else is that Sylectus. I have Sylectus, and I hesitate to really bash Sylectus just because I'm on there and I don't trust nobody. I don't even trust a big corporation like that not to be slimy and greasy and affect my account because of what I'm going to say. But Sylectus is a huge problem. Huge. Like they went from having, I think, requiring like 10 units. And I think you had to have an authority, a certain age to get on there. Okay, then they went to 5 units. And that's when we got on. We got on with 5 units. I think we had like 7 or 8 at the time when we got on. But we was required to have at least 5. Okay, now it's 1. Like 1, dude. Like, that's crazy. Now some people may think, oh man, you're just hating on other man's pockets and shit. I ain't hating on nobody else's pocket. I'm hating on who's contributing to watering down the industry. Like, if you don't agree with me, you don't agree with me. You're just being selfish and greedy. Like, I'm looking at it from everybody's perspective. Like, for mine, I've been established in this. I'm going to get through it. I'm not concerned about that. But seeing rates take a shit, like, yeah, that hurts. And by people that say, oh, you're worried about somebody else's pocket. Well, why, you're worried about my pocket, so you're like, oh, I just bid under you. That's worrying about my pockets. Why don't you worry about your pockets? If your service and tenure in the industry and reputation is not good enough to get a load over somebody else based solely on those things, and you not having to undercut a rate, then do it. But if that's what you have to do, which is what a lot of these guys are doing, they come into the industry, get their authority because they don't realize they don't have to, then they get allowed on these load boards to start bidding with these people, and of course, most brokers, they're greedy mother truckers, man. So you think they ain't going to take that guy that's bidding 80 cents all in as opposed to the guy that's bidding $1.50? Of course they are, man. Of course they are. So anybody that's okay that that's being allowed to happen, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but I disagree. Hey, guys. So I wanted to touch on as far as the amount of people that I've seen with new authority, which are basically individuals with one van, trying to learn how to use the boards, how to bid effectively. They have no clue what they're doing. They're having little to no success getting loads. I've come across people that have given up, and I'm not sure what the problem is, as far as the template, the speed in which they're bidding. I don't know. And the fact that they're not able to figure that out or find a good way to win these bids that they're trying to get, again, that speaks volumes. These are things that you should know prior to getting your authority and going to bid on loads for yourself. And this is what affects everything when these guys are being able to get on these boards and they're bidding amongst everybody else. And, they resort to, okay, I got to go cheaper. Okay, maybe I'm bidding too much. I got to go cheaper. But it almost always resorts to them having to go cheaper. So can you see how that plays out and negatively affects us as a whole, and how that is a problem that Sylectus or any other load board could rectify if they chose to? And if you're not understanding what I'm meaning, like they could choose to put a little more restrictions on who they allow onto these boards. So that's just a little more context to what I'm saying here. Sylectus is affecting their service. The quality of their service is going down due to them just allowing. And again, they're doing the same thing that some carriers do. Some carriers, they'll take on all kinds of owner ops, just like those app-based carriers. Guys, go look at those apps. Look how many downloads there are. And that means that, you know, again, they probably don't have every single one that's a download, but the majority of those, if they've downloaded it, they've probably gotten on with them. And you can guarantee, like, just for instance, the smallest one I seen was 500 downloads. You can guarantee they got at least 100 drivers, at least. That's what you are competing with when you get on those apps. So it's the same thing when Sylectus is allowing all these guys on, and they don't have, like, I've seen emails on Sylectus of a guy talking about his authority's 2 weeks old. Like, what? Like, he gets to come on here, obviously, I shouldn't even say obviously, but more than likely doesn't really have a clue on what to be bidding, how to bid, and he's on there throwing out bids against people that are established and know the ropes and know what to be bidding. Again, before I ever got onto Sylectus, you know what I did when I was with Barrett? And this is just to let you know how I went about having an idea where I need to bid. Okay, I'm contracted with Barrett at 95 cents. So I'm thinking, you know, just kind of doing just minimal research, but just thinking, what does a business have to profit above that, you know? And I had asked around a couple business owners, and the number I was normally getting was around 25, 26%, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I'm just doing the math. I'm just like, you know, what is 25%, you know, more than the 95 cents a mile? And then that's where I knew I needed to be at minimum all in. So real quick, where I'm talking about doing the math and understanding what you need to profit as a carrier on top of what the van's getting paid. I mentioned the 25, 26%. So as I said, I was making 95 cents with Barrett. So I take that 95 cents, which is going to be 75% of what the overall bid needs to be. You divide that by the 0.75, and that comes out to about $1.27. So I know I want to be in about the $1.27 range, ideally, to be profitable as a carrier and as a van owner. So other guys aren't doing it. They're just like, they might have talked to a driver that's getting paid 80 cents a mile, or they just think, like for one, my virtual fleet, trash ass board. It's a good board to learn on, like to get carrier packets filled out and just kind of get the feel of things because it's cheap. But the guy that runs that board, or the people that run it, they'll reach out to you and tell you you need to be bidding around 80 to 85 cents all in. That is garbage, man. And to be honest, like, those brokers that go on that board, I think they're fucked up. I think they're wrong. I think that's dead wrong that they jump on that board, because they know that. They know that. If you don't think that they don't know what the rates are on that board, you're just a complete idiot. There's a couple of brokers you'll see on there more than others. Just pop on my virtual fleet sometime, any of you that have it, and look who you see most of the time. And it's bullshit. Like, you can bid and bid and bid, and you're lucky to ever get more than $1 a mile out of that board. And that was previous to this bullshit. I couldn't even imagine what that board's giving out right now. To my point though, Sylectus is just watering down their service. They're getting a level of service that is poor, because again, you guys should know this, man. You can't just work off of pure volume, and that's what they're trying to do. They're just worried about $500 a month from as many people as possible. They could give a shit less about what us drivers or what us motor carriers, small businesses are going through. They don't give a shit. You know, they've got a function going on in, I think this month or next month, I think, like $400 or $500 to attend this thing, man. Like, all it is just a money grab. It's just a cheesy ass money grab, and they want to give you poor service for it. It's bullshit. And then there's people out there selling their Sylectus access, and Sylectus don't do shit about that. They know what's going on. People's reported it. People's, you know, let them know that these things are going on. Sylectus could give a shit less, man. I get a little frustrated about that, because it's just a jacked up situation. And again, I I don't want it to come across like I'm hating on other people, because that's not what it is. That's definitely not. And I think if you're small-minded enough to believe that my opinion on requiring or wanting a quality service out of something I pay for and something I'm doing is wrong, I'm not wrong on that, and most people think the same way. In this industry, as I said, for so long it's been cutthroat. It ain't just a recent thing. It ain't like everything just got bad and everything was just peaches and cream before, because that wasn't the case. Trucking has been trucking has been a problem for a long time. You know, I can remember the strike. I think it was back in the 80s. Like, there was a huge strike. You know, it's always been about rates and all that bullshit, and so everybody's always been cutting each other's throats. It's just now with social media and the reach that like Sylectus has and the industry itself has, and exposure due to social media, and I'm guilty in that as far as being a part of that. I try to do my best to be more informative about it, as opposed to promoting and glorifying it. So but yeah, it's just gotten so easily available to everybody. And then the pandemic happened, and all that money was being given out, and people just going and buying vans, you know, even after the vans skyrocketed in prices. And unfortunately, I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there, I don't know if you're watching my channel or not, but I know there's a lot of guys out there that overpaid for a van, and then insurance rates are skyrocketing. Like our rates for the renewal went up almost 100%, almost 100%. And we had out of like the 5 years or so we've been with Progressive, we've had like 3 claims out of like 7 vehicles, which that ain't shit. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't shit in the overall scheme of things. And so I guess my point was that what I was trying to make is that I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there that are getting choked out, and that's what contributes to some of the rates. And I get it. You start getting desperate. You start trying to do whatever you got to do just to get the wheels moving, because you think if you got a load, you must be profiting. Which, man, I'm just kind of going on and on in this video, but it just things just keep going on and on down the road as far as things that are wrong, because a lot of guys that I've seen, that I've experienced and come across in this industry, they don't truly understand their operating costs, which I've touched on before. They see a gross number, you know, say, like, you can have a week, say you gross $3,000. Okay, you're thinking, damn, yeah, I'm making money. I'm seeing that $3,000, boom, it's hitting my account. Like, god damn, man, I ain't never made $3,000 in my job before. But then they don't have the critical thinking ability, or they're not using it properly, whatever. And again, I'm trying to word this in a way, I'm not trying to be to where I'm putting somebody down, but they're not understanding. Okay, well, I ran 5,000 miles, you know, I had to, and then I ran another 2,000 miles in deadhead, and then I had to get an oil change, and, you know, all my gas and all my food for all the time I was out there. I went to McDonald's every day, or I went to Starbucks every single day, and went out to eat every day, rather than getting stuff out of Walmart or fresh food or whatever. You know, you had all these tolls. You don't realize that you just had, out of that $3,000 you just made, you had like $2,500 in expenses. You know, so you only made $500, and you're out there. Then you're getting hit with your, on top of all the operating expenses, just the gas and all that stuff. Then on top of that, you're getting hit with your $1,000 plus van payment each month, and your $1,000 plus insurance payment each month. Like, there's guys out there that's got over $2,000 combined, probably closer to $3,000. Some of these guys combined between their insurance and their van payment, which means they have to run hard for 1 week out of a month just to break even on that. And you have to think that they got to make the money to pay for the gas and everything during that week that they're running too. So they have to bust ass for at least a week just to break even for that week. Then you got 3 weeks left in the month. Like, again, you're putting yourself in a position, you have to be going at it every single day, every single week, and you have to be going at it hard. My point to it is just a lot of things are misleading. A lot of things are not thought of enough and thought about enough. But I'm going to stop this video because I have just gone on, and I want to keep going on and on. I'm just like kind of on a tangent at the moment, and I need to stop because a lot of you guys are probably tuned out by now. Any of you guys that stuck around, hit the like, subscribe if you're not subscribed, share this video, comment on this video, and I will holler at you guys later.
Your hustle got to be strong in this industry, as in any other industry.